I think a lot of pundits over the years have thought that if NBC Universal ever became available, that would probably make a good fit with Time Warner. However, I think you've been very clear saying that, I liked your line, you said you don't want to discourage Brian Roberts.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that here today either.
But I don't think that you really think that is the smartest place for Time Warner to go right now, and I was just wondering why you thought that.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's because the most media mergers, if you look, and now it's getting a little bit of fad attention. Somebody finally noticed that a lot of these things didn't work out so well. And I think we've all heard the speech over the years where some media company was going to buy some other media company, and there was going to be this, and they have to pay a lot to do it. Right. So the question always is, well, if you're now paying more for this thing than it was worth yesterday, why is that a good idea? And so naturally, the reason has always been given, this is 20 years worth at least, well, when we have it, it's going to do much better. Now, there's two general areas people argue for that. One is, well, we're great, so we can run it better, right, which is always, that's good for media because it fits into the egocentric mogul tendencies anyway. So that's, number one. Number two is the S word, that, well, the reason is it's synergy. And, there's been a lot written and said about synergy. It's true, it isn't true, whatever. In theory, there are certainly cases where if companies come together, they can create more efficiency and more capability. I would say, let's go to Turner, how you started. When Turner Networks merged with Time Warner, mostly HBO, a little bit of Warner's, we created some benefits. We had, some light businesses in programming and cross-promotion and network distribution and product sourcing of a lot of, people don't know this, but at Time Warner today, on the quote synergy front, I think we sell more programming from Warner's to our networks, TBS, TNT, HBO, than maybe any other media company sells to its networks. And if you stop and think about the leadership position, HBO in premium TV, TBS, TNT in entertainment, top of the ratings and so forth, those networks buy more of their movies and series from our own company than most other competing networks get from their company. So there's plenty of potential quote unquote synergy if you're talking about something that's actually true. Unfortunately, a lot of times there have been cases in media where not very connected companies buy each other, and then they make this argument. And so to your question on the current one, cable company and the NBCU company, that NBCU company is a very complicated company. It's got network TV, it's got broadcast stations, it has some good cable networks, it has Universal Studios, it has some parks. So it has a lot of things that, depending on which other company lines up with it, some of them fit and some of them don't. So as we said, we don't want to discourage anybody if they can go and make a good alliance. One of the things, the reason that we would think and we would always support, because we love to see our competitors taking risks. I'm trying to say this the right way. And whether it works out well for them or not, one of the things that'll be good, assuming it were to work out, is that the natural interests of networks and distribution, cables, telco, satellite, to make sure each of their business models evolves and functions well, which I think is there anyway. I mean, it's in, but if they're co-owned, then they're going to be reasonably progressive about the future of content and how it should evolve to broadband. And so that's probably a good and healthy development. And it might take what I would call the more hidebound part of the old broadcast company, NBC and the stations, and help it to move into a viable future, which would be good for the network industry. So, so that's what we think about it. Obviously, we didn't, on our side, think that given our very attractive position, and I'll wait until you ask about it, in our networks and studio, we don't need to own a cable company to make our economics work at CNN or HBO or Warner Brothers. So that's basically what we think about that.